All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into this one. This one shouldn't be too unfamiliar, again, especially with the whole migration to tech thing going on. So, just a quick little summary before I jump into the actual topic. For a long time, maybe still is, I haven't seen it as much, but for a long time, one of the best, like most popular talking points when it came to people, hey, you guys could get into tech, you can make six figs doing just regular stuff, or you don't have to code, you don't have to program, you have to be an engineer, like that was one of like the biggest, if not the biggest, sales point that people would throw out to try to get people to understand like how lucrative tech was that you didn't need to know how to program. This is true. There's many sides to tech just all around. Now, in past videos, if you've seen my Naruto networking series and a couple of my other videos, I've mentioned multiple times that I work in the IT service management sector of IT. You can, I guess, consider this the business side of IT. There are multiple different elements to ITSM, again, IT service management. Just to name a few, you have change management, incident management, knowledge management, asset management, and even that breaks down to its own thing of software asset management or hardware asset management, and the list goes on and on. But the whole thing with ITSM is that it's about delivering IT services and products to your customers. ITSM has somewhat, I guess you can say, of its own philosophy in that it believes that IT services and products should be considered like deliverable. IT services should be delivered to your customers. A bonus tip that I would throw to people, if you do your additional research, and we'll probably deep dive more into this later, but just to get the ball rolling, if you think you're interested in IT service management, which is more project management, that's another side of it. But I would say project management, product, just any of the PMs, product, program, project. I think portfolio management might be part of that too. If you want to like head in that direction where it's not necessarily technical, it can be, but usually it isn't, or at least most people try not to go to the technical PM roles. Then if you want to get a better idea, go ahead and do your research there. One platform that is pretty popular with the IT service management realm is ServiceNow. It's a pretty popular ticketing system. That's what people usually use it for. It can also be used for knowledge management, which, just to kind of divert real quick, knowledge management is basically like if you don't know how to do something and you need a step-by-step guide on how to perform certain things for your job, then ServiceNow is one of those platforms where you'll have different, what they call knowledge articles, where you can look up something and say, hey, how do I do this, this, and that? And someone, usually another member of the tech team somewhere, will create an article with pictures, images, step-by-step processes that show you, hey, to do this, you want to do this. Oh, hey, this process was updated. Here's the new way of doing it. Things like that. Another version, or another platform rather, that's useful for that, the one that I use for my contractor, is Microsoft Dynamics 365. So those are two platforms I recommend that if you want to get into ITSM or you're thinking about it, you want to do some additional research, go ahead and take a look at those two. But I would say between those two, people are probably more familiar with ServiceNow. So can't give away too much, but basically, what does my role pertain to when it comes to it being in the service management realm? So my position is comprised of a few different elements or components of the ITSM philosophy, or different specialties, if you will. But I would say it boils down to three main ones: incident management, and that I have to manage tickets on a daily basis; change management, and that I have to update records in our system also on a weekly basis. I can work on it daily, but I can only submit them weekly. But this probably varies for your employer or your contractor, whatever the case may be. And then asset management, which, like I said, splits off into software and hardware asset management. In my case, that's hardware asset management, basically meaning there are hardware concrete products that my, I guess you can say, employer or the company I'm contracted to ships out or sells to our customers. And it's basically my job to make sure that the information we have on those different devices is up to date in our system, so that when they need someone to go out and repair it, we have the right address, the right contact information, things like that. So why do I feel like it's important for people to know that this side of IT exists? And again, people have pretty much already touched on this, but not very in depth. People just use the sales point of, I make six figs working from home in tech or IT, whatever they want to call it, and I don't have to code. Because again, a lot of people, such as myself, thought that if you weren't looking at a terminal, or what we've now come to learn about IDEs and stuff like that, basically if you wasn't a programmer or hacker of some kind, you basically weren't going to go into anything tech related like at all. Which, now that we know that's not true, which Not only do we now know that there are multiple sides to tech, that some are technical, some aren't, some you can do a hybrid of both. But also, and this is coming from someone that was a business student in undergrad, and you can say my master's as well, is just geared towards IT. Business and tech are becoming so hand in hand. At this point, if you're a business student, I'm not saying you can't be a business administration or a business management student. There's nothing wrong with that. I would say if you're going to do that, because as far as I know from my old program, it didn't in undergrad, there were no technical concepts being pushed at the time. Maybe it's changed, but it didn't. There weren't any technical related concepts when I was coming up through undergrad. So if your program is like that, I highly recommend that you find whatever engineers, where do the STEM students go to, what part of the campus they live at, stuff like that. If you do not just organically have a friend, best friend, buddy, whatever the case is, that you know regularly, they hang out with regularly, and that you come to know very well, that can kind of give you an idea of what they do on a day-to-day basis or what they're trying to do when they get into the workforce, you may want to do that. And I say that because, and I actually have a friend who said this as well, very often us people that went to school for business or are now in more business inclined roles but don't really have technical knowledge or expertise of any kind, or it's very minimal, it's gotten to the point where we have to interact with engineers and developers pretty much on a regular basis. For example, a lot of people are pushing not only project management, but another position that's pretty similar to it is Scrum Master, which you're going to have developers, product owners, the Scrum Master themselves, this and that. But in particular, we're talking about the developers slash engineers here. And the Scrum Master is usually someone that's more business inclined. Now, if you're an engineer or developer and you become a Scrum Master at some point, that's totally fine. If anything, that's going to help you a lot. But I think it's safe to say many people that are trying to get into this world, they don't really care about learning the technical side of things, nor will they care about learning it on their own free time, at least getting hands on. They may read about it, but cracking open an IDE and learning Python, SQL, whatever the case is, yeah, I don't think too many people are going to want to do that more times than not, right? So when it comes to that, you want to try to get ahead of the curve by getting close with primarily engineering, but just STEM people in general, and seeing what type of things are they doing in class, what are they doing in their labs, and probably most importantly, again, where do they want to go and what type of position they want to go to. Some people, a lot of engineers have been doing engineering related stuff before they even got to school. It was just a natural passion of theirs. If you have a friend that was like that, that's even better. They probably have some level of practical experience already. That's how a good amount of engineers actually end up skipping the formal education process altogether. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. I'll talk to you guys next time. Later.